Hello and welcome to the Quincy Access Television studios. I'm Mark Crosby. Thank you so much for joining me for Good Deeds, a look at your Norfolk County Registry of Deeds. Joining me, as in programs past, is the Registrar of Deeds. That would be Bill O'Donnell. Bill, always a pleasure to welcome you into QATV studios. But then again, this program gets played throughout the county.
Well, again, Mark, thanks to QATV, yourself, you've got a great staff in doing this, because, you know, when we talk about the registry or registry statistics or just what's going on in real estate, hopefully people, whether it's in Norfolk County or across the state, you know, watch the show and they get some information. And, you know, the registry is an arm of government where documents, community land record documents, get recorded. And in Norfolk County, they've been getting recorded at the Norfolk Registry since 1793. We have over 13.1 million land records that have been recorded at the Registry of Deeds that we're responsible for. We're responsible for their safeguarding, and we try to make the records accessible. So I think it's great because, you know, whether it's a deed to your house, or you have to borrow, we all have to borrow money, you know, a mortgage gets recorded, or maybe you're putting an addition to your house on and you had to get a variance from your local community. These documents all get recorded at the Registry of Deeds and have an impact in the local communities and upon, you know, the individuals. The biggest asset most of us have are our individuals. So many thanks to you and QATV for bringing this information out.
As you had mentioned, or we're about to, I suppose, most prized possession outside of one's being is the ownership of a home. That possession is obviously what the Registry of Deeds deals in.
Yes, and I know part of this show is statistics, and later on we'll get into a very important change. There was legislation. We're always urging people to record a homestead, which is a way to protect your personal residence. The biggest asset you have is your home. And in August, there was legislation that got signed by Governor Healy, passed by the state legislature, that increased the homestead protection to $1 million. It was $500,000. And it just goes to show that even at the State House, people are looking at real estate and looking at ways to protect the consumer, to protect the homeowner. And, you know, you should take a look. You can go to our website at the registry, www.norfolkdeeds.org, to get some information on these homestead changes, as well as if you need to, you know, make a copy of a form to fill out. So with that, you know, we're going to talk statistics, but I think it was good right off the bat that there has been changes. You know, we do this show and it is impactful, and that's a big impact, because it's been 500,000 for quite a bit. A period of time. Since it was 300,000, but roughly around 2004 or so, okay, it went from 300,000 to 500,000. And again, I think it was a good change. I know the Registers of Deeds Association, there are 21 registries across Massachusetts, and what we talk about here, you know, we all our registries try to work to accomplish goals and protect the consumer. And I know the Registers of Deeds Association was pushing to help the consumers get, you know, more protection, given the values of people's homes have gone up.
Certainly, and it basically took 10 years to go from 500,000 to $1 million.
Yeah, exactly. But in statistics, we're going to talk about 3 months worth of statistics. We looked at the quarter, you know, July, August, and September of 2024 to 2023. And the good news is we've had an increase in overall real estate activity in Norfolk County, and many times the increases in Norfolk County are reflected in all the counties. There are 14 counties across Massachusetts. And when I say an increase, I mean, we always look at total documents recorded. In 2023, there was 26,287 documents recorded in that quarter. This year, 27,799. That's an over 1,500 document increase, or 6%. So that's great. And you know what goes into this increase? And I think it's lending activity, which we're going to talk about because the interest rates went down, and property sales. You know, people buying homes and doing transactions that involve again, the biggest asset most of us have, our homes, but it could be commercial property. All kinds of deeds get recorded at the registry, and when you look at that number went up in 2024, and again, it's for July, August, September of 2024. There was 4,320 deeds recorded, as opposed to 4,001 for that same 3-month period. That's an increase of 319, or 8% increase, an 8% increase in deeds being recorded. And when you look at mortgages, I think we got to keep in mind the availability of mortgages at lower interest rates, according to the Federal Home Loan Mortgage Corporation. And these rates haven't been seen since September of 2022. So the rates did go down, and by going down, it increases not only the number, and at least in Norfolk County, the number of mortgages that were recorded, but also the amount of borrowings went up. And again, we think what goes on in Washington, D.C., what goes on with the Federal Reserve, they make actions, and then indirectly it has all these spillover or consequential effects here in Norfolk County and in Greater Boston and Massachusetts. So as far as mortgages, in 2023, there was 3,860, but for July, August, and September of 2024, it was 4,231, or a 10% increase. And again, that's just for an interest rate that went down. Many people who have locked into interest rates, maybe they bought a house in 2023, or it maybe hasn't gone down enough to refinance.
Exactly, refinance.
But it still had an effect. I mean, a 10% increase, over the 3-month period, just shows how impactful interest rates can be. And another impact, we always bring it up, people are always struggling with foreclosures. And unfortunately, even in Norfolk County, the foreclosure deeds went up by 71% from 14 to 24. And the notices to foreclose in the third quarter increased 14%. And the notices to foreclose, the foreclosure deeds are at the end of the process. The notices to foreclose, by law, your lender, when you borrow money and you're not paying your mortgage, they'll file a lawsuit, and part of the law requires that they just file a notice to foreclose at the registry. And I always say that's really the only thing that the registry is involved in. What we have tried to do is take these notices to foreclose and try to get people some help. So we have partnered up. It's on our website. If you go to www.norfolkdeeds.org, you can get this information, or go directly to these nonprofit groups who have committed to help those struggling with foreclosure. And when I say committed to help, these groups, it's a lawsuit. So they're giving you some legal guidance, and they're not charging you for it. And more importantly, they're also giving you counseling services. Some people need some help with credit card debt. Some people unfortunately have a calamity, a health issue or something big. But other people get themselves in trouble, and these groups try to give some economic and financial, personal investment and personal financial management tools to kind of get at the root problem. So who are these groups? It's Quincy Community Action Program. And I always say, even though we're in Quincy, and even though it says Quincy, they've committed to help in all 28 communities in Norfolk County. And the other group is NeighborWorks Housing Solutions. Again, both nonprofit groups that do a fine job in executing their mission to help people. And one of the ways they try to help people, and one of the segments they try to address are those who unfortunately are struggling with foreclosure. And we also have a link on our website to the Massachusetts Attorney General's office, has some resources that are available.
The Consumer Advocacy and Response Division, also known as CARD, and that is 617-727-8400.
Yes, that's part of the Attorney General's office. And again, the more resources you get, I think the takeaway should be this: it's a long process for a foreclosure to take place. And if a lender has filed suit, they probably have taken steps with letters and things to try to work things through. But if they've made a decision to file suit and foreclose on you, then you really should get some guidance. Don't wait to the end of the process. I think, like anything, you should get the advice and counsel right away when this problem surfaces, as opposed to when your house is really being sold at auction. That's not the time to get some guidance and help.
Sure. Getting back to the sale of property, you had put out a release just a few weeks ago, actually not even, just a couple of days ago, regarding the market. The real estate market is really thriving right now. And there has been, I think the third quarter sale prices have decreased.
Well, they may have decreased, and you're right to point that out. But again, the average sale price, and in Norfolk County, we have to do commercial and residential together. The average sale price is still over $1 million, and so it decreased 129,000, but it was almost the average sale price was almost 1.1 million. So. Norfolk County, I believe it's a credit to all the communities and to the management of the communities at the local level. We have a lot of desirable areas. Greater Boston is a desirable area to live in. The communities are desirable areas to live in. And when we say thriving, some people view it as thriving and other people view it as a struggle, especially for first-time home buyers trying to break the ice, so to speak. It's very difficult.
And people see a lot of construction going on in quite a few different municipalities. So there's still a shortage of homes.
And that's what drives the average sale price being high, is that Massachusetts, and we still anecdotally talk to brokers, people still sometimes come by the registry to do closings, or sometimes they do it electronically. Now, we have electronic recordings that take place throughout the county. But we get feedback from the attorneys involved and from the brokers, and they say that there's still limited inventory. Sometimes, maybe not as much as in years past. There's competition. Multiple buyers competing for that property. So that's what drives the price up. And as you say, steps are being taken to get more housing, but there's still a great demand, and that demand still factors into the prices being high. I think it's also a factor that these communities are great places to live. We're convenient to Boston, and I always say it. We're so lucky to live in Norfolk County on a tank full of gas. You can go from the beautiful beaches of the Cape up to the mountains of Vermont, to the beautiful national parks in Arcadia, or up at Bar Harbor. So,
but there's a price to pay to live in this area of the country, correct?
Yes, there's always a price to pay. There's nothing for free. But we'll see what happens. I do feel that, as you say, the real estate market is thriving. The numbers are up, and prices are up. And I recognize that also means challenges for people that are trying to get into the market. But it's good economic news. It's better than other news where prices could be down, and foreclosures. If we have one foreclosure in Norfolk County, that's one too many. But there's years past where foreclosures were tremendously high, and not just here in Norfolk County, but say across the country. So we are lucky to live where we do.
And I think the projection is that they will continue to trim interest rates.
And that's what they say. It remains to be seen. And I always say, what they do at the Federal Reserve, it takes a while to trickle down. But the talk is that interest rates may come down further. How far they come down, say by the close of 2025, I don't think that's going to affect sales. I think people who want to buy the house are going to buy the house, and the rates are, coming down. So that's favorable for people that want to buy. However, I think people who have current mortgages, even on the high side, when you refinance or you make that decision, and again, talk to your financial advisors, but it has to be a pretty substantial cut in the rates, because, you know, when you refinance, you still have to pay closing costs, attorney's fees, costs, and so you have to factor all that in. So I really want to see what's going to happen in 2025, because I think if the rates can come down further, now you're going to see more people that bought the houses in 2022 or bought the houses in 2023 when the market was high as far as interest rates, now refinancing.
I do want to talk about the Consumer Notification Service, because that's a free service that's offered by the Registry of Deeds, and you really encourage all folks to sign up.
Yes, the Consumer Notification Service was a service that we started at the Norfolk Registry of Deeds back in 2015. And the Consumer Notification Service really tries to combat all the cybersecurity risks and scams that you're reading about. Now, we started it in 2015, but the depth of scams and the repetitive nature of what's going on, it's just grown tremendously. And the Consumer Notification Service is, you sign up and you get an email. And you have to sign up on our website, www.norfolkdeeds.org. When you go to that website, you'll see banners across the top. If you hit Services, there'll be a drop-down box, and the drop-down box is Consumer Notification Service. Now, we started this in 2015. It's a free service. I always start with, I've signed up, and what happens is I get emails notifying me of any William O'Donnell document that gets recorded at the Norfolk Registry of Deeds. I've gotten notices for William J. O'Donnell. I'm William Patrick O'Donnell. I've gotten notices for Bill O'Donnell from Quincy. I'm Bill O'Donnell from Norwood. And I look the information up and I see it's not my property. And I always tell the story, it could be a time when myself or my spouse gets the notice and we say, wait a minute, we didn't sign that deed, or wait a minute, we didn't sign that equity line or that mortgage. There's an issue. Now, the Consumer Notification Service does not prevent the fraud.
It notifies.
It notifies you that there's almost like when your credit cards get compromised, that there's an issue. And we're starting to see it now. For years, I used to say, oh, it's in other parts of the country, California, Illinois, Philadelphia. Well, in a couple of, Middlesex County, Plymouth County, there's been a couple of, on local media, on the news stations, where there's been some of this, like a deed gets recorded kind of fraudulently. So we don't prevent the fraud, but the FBI says the fastest growing white collar crime, or the fastest growing white collar crime, the fastest growing white collar crime is deed and property and mortgage fraud, but deed fraud. So again, some of the statutes haven't caught up with what goes on in society. But, this is a way to sign up for the Consumer Notification Service. And we've been doing it since 2015. I know there's ads out there for private companies that you have to pay to do it. And if people want to pay to do it, that's great. And they may not live in Norfolk County where, we have the free service. But it is the biggest asset you have. And we're starting to see it in Massachusetts where, fraudulent deeds are getting recorded. I always try to say, though, thank you, local legislators. There is a statute that says a fraudulent deed does not convey good title. So you're not going to lose the title to your house. But if you've had credit cards compromised, you got to take steps to kind of straighten it out. And it can be aggravating, and it can be a lot of time and attention. Same thing's going to happen if you find yourself that some fraudulent deed has gotten recorded. And some poor innocent purchaser could be out of the money too. But, at least whoever's house it is, that's what the statute says, that a fraudulent deed does not convey good title. So that's, I hope, gives solace to the people out there that are watching.
Let's talk about deeds and obtaining copies of deeds. Folks can do that for a nominal fee at the Norfolk County Registry.
Yes, by statute, there are, people can come in and get copies of the deeds. And actually, even if you go to our website, www.norfolkdeeds.org, you can print a copy of your deed. It says not an official copy, but for most people, you don't need a certified copy. It's good to have. If you need a certified copy, you can come by the registry, or we've been out there. One thing I've prided myself, the Norfolk Registry of Deeds. Because of the whole technology, we've tried to bring the records into people's homes and businesses. So we're at office hours, not only throughout the town halls and the city hall, but we go to senior centers. We've been to the
Walpole Council on Aging not too long
recently.
ago.
And when we go there, we print out the documents. Some people have said, hey, can I have a copy of my homestead? We print it out. And we don't charge people. Or if they want a certified copy of their deed, we'll do it for no fee there as a courtesy, because we're out there. So you can come by. If you need a copy of a document, come by the Registry of Deeds. You can go through the over 41,000 books, or we have probably 50 computers that are accessible to the public that you can look the information up, or just come by our customer service center. We have a dedicated staff there, a dedicated office. People can just walk in and say, hey, I need a copy of my deed, or can I have a copy of my homestead, or just check. We're in all the communities in Norfolk County, and if we're in your community or at your town hall, come by and visit us. We'll save you a trip to Dedham, and you can get copies of the documents.
And we should just mention or caution folks that there are services out there, though not illegal, will charge more for a copy of a deed.
Yes, I mean, you're being nice. I call it kind of deed scams in their own right. But as you point out, and as the Attorney General's office has pointed out, and as the Secretary of State's office has pointed out, and both of those organizations put out notifications to the consumers about this, don't be paying excessively. One group initially started for $60. They would get you a certified copy of your deed. Don't be paying $60. Come to the registry directly. And then there's been variations since, some for $86, some now for over $100, where they'll get you a copy of your deed. Another group, it looks like it's a tax bill or some type of government bill that you owe money and you pay it, and they get you a copy of your deed.
Again, over $100. Do they frame it?
They give you a document that like I said, at office hours you get free from us. And again, I think it's unconscionable what they do, and I know there was an article in the Boston Herald. WBZ Radio did a piece on it. Hank Philippi Ryan did a piece on it. But it's still happening. And so the best thing is, don't fall prey for those, I call them scams, because as you point out, it is legal. In the fine print that no one can read, even with glasses, it says it's a solicitation. But just make sure, don't be paying excessive monies like that. Come directly to the Registry of Deeds. As I said, we're located at 649 High Street in downtown Dedham, across from the Gold Dome Superior Court. Or you can call our customer service center at 781-461-6101, or email me directly at registerodonnell@norfolkdeeds.org.
The Norfolk County Registry of Deeds. Your genealogical study begins here.
Yes, well, and some of it, it's been a great partnership with QATV. We started a History Comes Alive project, which goes back to, there was over 450,000 documents. We were the first registry, they say in New England, some say in the United States, to transcribe from the handwritten form. The handwritten documents were the legal documents, and we transcribed them to easy-to-read text, over 450,000 documents from 1793 to 1900. And out of that History Comes Alive project, we've done other projects. We've done projects on historical figures, and some of them have gotten awards, but we've taken it to another level. Yes, as I pointed out, come by 649 High Street. We have over 50 public access terminals that people can do research and access our records back to 1793. Or if they need a little help, go to the customer service center. But because of our History Comes Alive project, and we've spoken to some of the historical commissions and the historical societies, we've dedicated a bank of computers for genealogical research. We call it, the Genealogical Research and Resource Center, where people can come by. We have access a number of resources, but principally Ancestry.com. People can access it for free. So some people find it convenient. They can do some research on land records, but then they can also use some computers and start that journey on Ancestry.com. I mean, I have my own individual one I've had for years, and maybe by getting interested, they'll do that. But at least we're making it accessible to people, and people come in because maybe they just want to see what it's about, and maybe once they get interested, they end up getting their own subscription because it really does take you on a journey. I know for myself, just looking back at the various, my relatives came from Ireland, even Canada. They didn't know that until we started doing research.
Right.
So
Interesting.
It's good.
Yeah, it's quite the journey, or can be.
Yes.
Let's talk about, as we close, because we are reporting on third quarter activity, let's talk about something that's coming up, actually two events that happen, two drives that happen at the end of the year, and that's the annual food drive and Toys for Tots.
Yes, well, first of all, the Toys for Tots, we thank the United States Marines, all veterans, for their service. Actually, my son's in the Coast Guard. I have his flag. He gave me his lapel pin. But with the Toys for Tots, the U.S. Marines and the reserves do a Toys for Tots. We are a dedicated drop-off site at 649 High Street, and it's a great program that's been in place, and we've done this for years and couldn't do it without the help of the employees. I mean, people coming in for jury duty on the second floor, dropping off items, and the public in general just being so supportive. And again, we talk about people struggling for foreclosure. Well, for years, right before Thanksgiving, we do an annual food drive. There's much more publicity now on food insecurity around, not just Norfolk County, but around Massachusetts. So we always appreciate when people can drop items off. And on our website, because our food pantries around the county, there's 28 communities here in Norfolk County. Go to www.norfolkdeeds.org. We have a list of all food pantries in the county, and some communities have more than one food pantry. So they need items all the time, and if you prefer to go directly, whether it's the season of Thanksgiving or during the winter months when they need people, they need donations all year round. You can go directly to the addresses on our website and give them some help directly.
Well said, indeed. I want to thank you again for joining me here at the studio and talking about statistics, but also some other functions of the Registry of Deeds.
Well, it's my pleasure. You do a great service, and QATV does a great service in having this information out there. So thank you very much.
Thank you once again. And thank you at home for watching. And just please remember to support the local access station in the community in which you reside.